Okay, let's turn to the BBC saga now. Big news today that Trump is suing the BBC for $1 billion in damages. This after it doctored footage of him from January 6 to make it look like he was inciting the Capitol Hill riot. He's also demanding a full retraction and a public apology. For more on this now, let's bring in tonight's panel former Speaker of the House, Bronwyn Bishop, and Bill Shorten's former Chief of Staff, Cameron Milner. Great to see you both as always. So, Bronwyn, I think this is great that the President is taking on the biased left media, not just with words, but with legal action.
Absolutely. But I mean, what worries me is that the ABC and the BBC are so closely linked, always have been. And for the BBC, the rot set in with the Panorama program on Princess Diana when she was presented with false information to persuade her to do the interview, and it was covered up for decades, and they knew. And that's when the rot began. It's been followed by a whole sequence of covers up, whether it's people who are pedophiles, with a whole range of them. And there's just this murky feel. And culturally, if they don't clean up their mess in Britain, you've got the problem that they are, in fact, almost commanded to be the main outlet of news because you pay a tax to pay it. We used to have a tax here. Gough Whitlam got rid of that.
One good thing you did, at least. Cameron, now, even from Australia, we've been able to see just how biased the BBC is, particularly on issues like Israel. And that was one of the stories that was exposed. And I had the journalist behind that story, or behind this whole expose on the show last night. But it was found that BBC Arabia was spreading Hamas propaganda.
Well, isn't it terrible? And look, the BBC should be so much better. As a public broadcaster, they should be able to tell the truth and tell the truth without fear or favour. But they're not. They're completely, utterly biased. They're captured of the left. And that's the real problem. And isn't it good? Isn't it good they've finally been caught out and someone's actually going to take them to the courts and potentially cost them dearly? And maybe after that they'll listen. Because goodness knows they haven't listened to the complaints of all the rest of us who say you're biased and not doing the right thing on things like Israel, on ABC or the BBC. So if it takes a Trump lawsuit, well, so be it.
Yeah.